And welcome to RTF Sports Talk, back from the dead. I am Michael Buckasha, the host of this fine establishment today. I'm joined, as always, with Matthew Lyle. Matthew, how you doing today?
No, we're doing phenomenal, closing on the holidays, so it's the hustle and bustle of my favorite time of the year, Christmas and Christmas Junior. I'm excited, can't wait.
I'm excited as well, man. Happy holidays to you and your family, and also happy holidays to Billy Hatton. Billy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. A little tired. I had the crew yesterday. Well, I'm ready to talk some sports. Let's get it.
And on today's show, guys, we are going to cover our picks from yesterday, just to see how everybody did. We're obviously going to talk Chiefs, Rams. I'm looking forward to maybe talking some Golden State Warriors and just other football-related news. All that and much more right after the intro, guys.
If you came to prove, there's no reason to prove.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And welcome back to the show, guys. Sometimes I think that is the longest intro in the world, but then going back listening to the podcast, I think it fits really well. So for those of you that don't know, we kind of sit here on the dark on the backside here for about 30 seconds or so, however long that intro actually is. But I just want to go over some picks that we went, how we all did yesterday. Billy, I missed a show on Sunday. You and Matthew made your picks, and you didn't pick the Giants game. Who did you have winning that game?
Oh, I wanted the Giants, but I said that they should win.
Okay, so
I remember that because then we got to talking about should they tank. Yeah, that's right, Billy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So with you picking the Giants win, Billy, you went 5-6. Yeah.
Well, you
yesterday.
would pick the worst week. You would pick the worst week that I've had in the last 3 weeks, where I've only missed like 2 games.
Hey.
We would go to this week where I'm 5-6.
Mean. Let's be honest. You did pick the Redskins to win. You picked Cincy. I mean, like we all picked Cincy to win.
Which was all good picks, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great week of NFL football. Like I guess you can say. Matthew Lyle, you went 6-5. Some really solid picks.
I'll take it. About 500.
Yeah, and the only questionable pick that you guys had, I think, was Atlanta. I mean, I'm not for sure how you guys can root against my Cowboys like that, but hey.
Well, Atlanta was playing at home. It was prime for him. When Zeke have 200 yards, it's normally a good thing.
Right. I believe that was the 4th game Zeke had over 200 yards from scrimmage in his career. So I kind of want to start on today's topic about the Redskins. The injury bug is definitely starting to hit the Redskins very hard. They're down 4 offensive starting linemen. They're out a couple linebackers, a safety, and then Alex Smith went down with a very gruesome injury yesterday as well, with that broken ankle or leg. I'm not for sure what you want to call it, but that broken limb that was pointing in the wrong direction. In your guys' opinion, Matthew, we'll start with you on this one. Is this the beginning of the end of Alex Smith's career?
Mike, I'm disappointed because clearly you know mine and Billy's records from yesterday. So you listen to the podcast. I said this yesterday pre-Alex Smith. I said I selling all my Washington Redskins stock. I had no faith in them. I think they've lost injuries all across the board, and I didn't have that much faith in Alex Smith to begin with. So you take him away, they've been done, but this is just the ribbon on that gifts of a season they just gave to everyone else in their division.
Yeah, I think this is definitely it for the Washington Redskins. They were on their roll, but when you lose over half of your offensive linemen in the NFL, you just can't do that. And then now you lose your quarterback, and you're going to have Colt McCoy being your starter. He's a really good option. He can win you some games, but he's going to lose you a lot more than he's going to win. The Redskins season is done at this point here.
Well, that was quick and easy, and I have to echo exactly what you guys said because the Cowboys are coming on at the right time to win that division, just like I picked back in the day. So moving on to the next question that I have for you guys, the Pittsburgh-Jacksonville game. This game came down to the final seconds of the game with Big Ben diving into the end zone to secure that 20-16 win in Jacksonville. So, Matthew, the question comes to you. Did Pittsburgh win that game, or did Jacksonville lose that game?
So that's always really a tough question to answer, if we're being honest with ourselves, because there's so many plays and there's so many snaps and quarters and drives that really go into deciding a game. So a lot of times when I look at this, I look at ability. I don't think Jacksonville had the ability to win that game. Me and Billy talked about that yesterday. I think they're done. They've checked out of the NFL season. I don't think they had the ability to win the game to begin with. Pittsburgh did. So for a majority of that game, Jacksonville was living above their means.
Even though they were up 16-0 going into midway through the third.
I mean, how many times? If you watch sports at ever, there's always teams that have no business winning, and or at least getting a lead. Now sometimes they're able to pull it out, and sometimes they're not. So Jacksonville had no business winning that game. So they had a nice lead, but then here come Pittsburgh, which was the better team, the better attitude, the better atmosphere, and the better players. So I don't. It's hard for me to say Jacksonville gave it away when it really wasn't even theirs to give away to begin with. Yes, the scoreboard said it was theirs, but if you were watching the game and if you watched the season, I mean, I guess anybody can beat anybody any given Sunday saying. But I just never at any time thought that Jacksonville was better than Pittsburgh.
I think Pittsburgh won it. For me, what Big Ben did in the fourth quarter in winning time, for me, it just don't seem like the Jacksonville Jaguars made any adjustments to do anything. The Pittsburgh Steelers made corrections. Now, Mike, to the question, to the other thing that you were asking, for me, I just think it comes down to matchup. I think Jacksonville plays Pittsburgh very well because Jacksonville does good what the opposite of what Pittsburgh does well. Pittsburgh want to throw the ball around with Big Ben, get the ball out in space. Well, Jacksonville has the corners and has the DBs that can combat that. They have fast linebackers, Telvin Smith and Jared Jack. So I think for me, it just comes down to matchup with Pittsburgh and Jacksonville, which is the reason why you've seen Big Ben throw 3 interceptions again yesterday, 2 to Jalen Ramsey, when Jalen Ramsey called him an average quarterback earlier in the year. To me, it just came down to matchup. But I think what Pittsburgh was able to do in the second half, what Big Ben was able to do, especially with a pretty pedestrian run game, I think James Conner only had like 25 yards. So for me, I think Pittsburgh went out there and won it.
And to your point, Billy, about the matchups, we touched on that a little bit yesterday. I do think this is the final straw for the Jacksonville season. We talked, I think, that we both kind of agreed that the defense had checked out, had given up on Blake Bortles, meeting them and carrying their part. They'd kind of given up on the offense to carry their parts. And they went into yesterday's game with what seemed to be exactly what Billy said. We match up really well versus Pittsburgh. And they thought they could get the win. That would be the type of win that might jumpstart some kind of decent run down the back stretch. Well, now that they gave that up, you look down that final drive, the defense gave up the touchdown. And then, even though you really can't expect Blake Bortles to throw a Hail Mary with 3 seconds left, he ended up getting, it was a sack fumble. So I think that they mustered up what little bit of courage, confidence, and energy, they channeled it into this one game, almost like we did the New England game a couple weeks ago, but they weren't able to get it done, and I think that will be the straw that breaks their entire season, well, what was remaining of their season.
But this team should be good. I mean, if I held a team to 20 points of this caliber, not disagreeing with your point, but I'm just saying like this team should be much better. You know, if I held a team to 20 points, 3 turnovers, you know, Blake Bortles, you got to do something. To your point about they thought that Blake Bortles was going to meet them halfway. It should be impossible for a team back-to-back years to do what the Jacksonville Jaguars did, what the Minnesota Vikings did last year, and you see that defense is struggling. These teams have to get good quarterbacks. I think Kirk Cousins is still that guy for Minnesota, but in Jacksonville, Blake Bortles definitely got to go.
Yeah, and that's what like we talked. I forgot what show we were talking about on Billy, and I remember it was just me and you talking, and I was like, you know, relationships, whether it be personal or professional, are give and take, and it seems like this year and even last year, the offense was doing a lot of taking and not doing a lot of giving. You know, so and I think that's discouraged the defense. So yes, absolutely, I think the defense is really good. I think they're just flustered. They're tired of being on the field. They're tired of
the Ramsey said that yesterday. He said, "I'm mad. Like I'm pissed off." So
in the NFL, you would think if you give up 14 to 20 points, you have a chance to win it. And technically, they did have a chance to win it. But that defense did a good job against a very powerful offense. Carved up Carolina just a week ago. They held them to 20, and you lose. That's got to be discouraging. So I think that's why I think it's tough, because I don't think Jacksonville can do this. I don't think the offense can do it, and the defense is just checked out of the season.
So I'm going to ask you guys a real quick follow-up question. Right before the game started, the Ramsey rumor started to surface that the Jacksonville Jaguars are looking to trade him in the offseason. The owner quickly came back and said that's not true. We're keeping him. Do you think Jacksonville is actually trying to chop him?
I'm just gonna go real quick, Matthew, before you go. Lip service. That was lip service to me. I think they will trade him. He's one of those Richard Sherman type guys who people say is the cancer in the locker room. I think they are trying to trade him.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones they've always said that the further you get away from the ball, the louder your mouth is, receivers and corners. And I think, you know, historically, cornerbacks have only had a 3 to 5 year window. Now, to my acknowledgement, Jalen's not been really injured, so that's a plus. But like Billy said, this is all just the owner coming out and saying it. Basically, all this makes sense to me. You say he's out to be traded. He plays one of his best games of the season against one of the best receivers in the league. He comes up with 2 interceptions with a high-powered offense. And then the owner comes out and says, no, we're not trading him. Well, that's only because if you said, yeah, he's on the block, you look desperate, and you look like when you're desperate in a trade, you can get taken advantage of. But if you come out and say, oh, I don't want to trade him, now you got to come to me with a little extra because you don't know if you're trying to get rid of him or not. So, yeah, I think he is on the block.
All right, Matthew, you're starting to cut out real bad. I'm not for sure if you're cutting out on Billy's end as well. Just letting you know there. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Ever since the bye week on week 9, Odell Beckham Jr. said that the Giants are going to run the table and they're going to make a playoff push. On yesterday's show, you both agreed that the Giants should just tank, kind of just lose the games and get a solid pick.
Whoa! Now, Mike, did you listen to the show? Because
I did.
That was literally my exact opposite point.
Well,
they said they were stupid if they tank.
I didn't say you. I said you guys in general, meaning Billy.
No, there's only 2 of us. You can't say God.
You guys get clumped. You guys get clumped as one. But regardless, Odell said that they were going to run the table. That they were going to rattle off eight straight wins. Since then, they are 2-0, and surprisingly, they are back in that playoff hunt to get a division championship in that NFC East. So the question arises to you, Matthew: can the Giants win out, run the table, and win that division still?
See, Billy, my feelings are hurt right now because not only did I not say they're not going to tank, I actually answered this question yesterday when I said they're going to be the Ryan Fitzpatrick of the NFC East. They are going to come out here, win games that people think they shouldn't, And then when people start having this question, when people start having this conversation, then they're going to break everybody's heart. So, yeah, I could see them rolling off 4 out of 5. But as soon as they're in the race, Eli's going to be Eli, throw some interceptions. Odell's going to be Odell, and act a fool on the sideline. And right when you think they have a chance, just kidding, they don't. So, no, I think they're, like I said, I think if Ryan Fitzpatrick was a team, it's going to be the New York Giants. You count them out. You say they don't stand a chance. They should be the number 1 pick. They start winning a couple games. They start looking like they stand a chance. But overall, no, they don't stand a chance.
I don't think they're going to go 8 straight, but this is the reason why I picked the New York Giants to win that division. You know, I said it yesterday on the show. With the roster that they had, drafting Saquon, I didn't think he was going to be as effective in the NFL. He is. You had Odell Beckham. You had Eli Manning. I thought with that defense, I thought that this team should be at best 3 games clear of everybody else. Playing the exact schedule that everybody else had, Alex Smith being the new guy in Washington, Carson Wentz, and the Eagles are going to have to play a first-place schedule now, losing LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi, losing some of those guys on the defensive end. You know, and then I thought the Cowboys wasn't going to have a really good season, which they're not. You know, this is a bad division. They still have a chance, but this division is so bad. I thought with the Giants' talent, they should have won the East. But I don't think that they're going to win it. I think they still should be tanking. That's just me, especially when you know you're going to get rid of Eli Manning anyways. I will be trying to go at least get one of those top quarterbacks, these guys that's coming out, even if it's not Herbert. But I will be trying to get something to sell to my fans that, hey, we're at least trying to get better. So for me, I think they should tank, but I don't see them winning. I don't see them winning 8 straight.
All right, guys, and moving on to the next topic here. Just some food for thought there. Any team that started 0-2 in the last, I believe, was 15 years has not won the NFC East. The Giants did start 0-2. So just some food for thought, just to strengthen your guys' both points on this topic here. And speaking of starting off on a bad note on this year, the Houston Texans started out 0-3, and with the win yesterday versus the Washington Redskins, they have now won 7 straight. Are the Houston Texans your team now in the Super Bowl? Are they as good as advertised? Matthew Lyle.
No, they're not. I heard a really good saying watching some football over the weekend. We're not really great. A team was talking about themselves. They said we're not great at offense. We're not great at defense. We're not great at special teams. But we're a really good football team. And that's what I get when I watch the Texans. Nothing. I mean, they do got some great weapons on offense. They do have a stout defense. But they struggle in areas, and they don't really jump off the page at any one thing. But at the end of the day, they're a solid football team. And they are in a questionable division that you can't seem to get out of its own way. I mean, Andrew Luck, as much as he does good, the team does bad. The Titans only beat playoff teams and can't beat anybody else. And Jacksonville's imploding. So I'll give Texans props. They find ways to win games. But let's be real, guys. We've always talked about this when we talk about teams winning championships. You got to know how to win to get to the Super Bowl. Now, these guys are finding a way to win in the season, and that's nice. It's a fun story to watch. But to win late in the playoffs, to win a Super Bowl, that takes a level of knowing how to win, not just finding a way to win. So no, I think they'll win the division, but I don't see them, depending on matchups, I don't see them making it very far. They might win one playoff game, but that's about it.
Super Bowl, no, not yet. Maybe a few years off, get a few more pieces. But they're really nice this year, and as Demaryius Thomas get more acclimated into that offense, they will be much better. Deshaun Watson is who I thought he was going to be coming out of Clemson after watching him for 3 years. So just for me, Super Bowl, no. But I think that they can probably finish the season, 11-5. They